80 men. 80 bodies of muscle, bone, fear, and faith, standing on a narrow beach at the edge of the world. In front of them, the sea. Behind them, their homes. And on the horizon, an empire. November 18th, 1274 A.D. Komoda Beach, Tsushima Island. In less than 3 hours, the samurai world as they know it will end. But this story does not begin with swords. It begins with paper and a seal pressed in red wax. The letter that warned the world. 7 years earlier, a ship touched the shores of Japan. From it stepped a messenger, not armed, not threatening. He carried a document stamped with the imperial seal of the Yuan dynasty. The seal of Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, ruler of China, master of Korea, commander of the largest empire humanity had ever seen. The letter was brief, cold, unnegotiable. It did not ask for friendship. It did not propose alliance. It demanded submission. Send envoys, pay tribute, acknowledge Mongol supremacy, or face consequences. Japan's rulers read it. Then they did something no other nation had ever dared. They said nothing. No response, no refusal, no apology. Silence. 6 years of ignored threats. Kublai Khan was not used to being ignored. He sent another letter, then another, and another. For 6 years, Mongol messengers crossed the sea carrying increasingly severe warnings. Japan remained silent. To the Mongols, this was insanity. Every kingdom that resisted had been erased, cities burned, populations slaughtered. But Japan had never been invaded, never once in its history. The samurai believed themselves protected, not by walls or fleets, but isolation, tradition, and honor. They trained for ritualized combat, duels, announcing names, facing death with dignity. The Mongols did not fight like that. They fought to win. The invasion no one could imagine. While Japan trained in silence, Kublai Khan prepared something unprecedented. In Korean shipyards, forests were stripped bare. Hull after hull was built, fast, crude, numerous. By the autumn of 1274, nearly 900 ships waited at anchor. Aboard them, Mongol veterans, Chinese infantry, Korean conscripts, more than 20,000 men. They carried weapons Japan had never seen. Explosive bombs, poisoned arrows, massed formations. This was not an army. It was a machine. And its first target was Tsushima. Tsushima was small, remote, strategically vital. It stood between Korea and the Japanese mainland, a stepping stone. Defending it were around 80 samurai under their governor, So Sukekuni. 80 men to guard an island of families, farms, temples. When the lookouts saw the horizon darken, they knew immediately. This was not weather. It was sails. hundreds of them. Sukekuni climbed the cliffs and counted, until counting became pointless. There were too many. The choice was simple: run, warn Kyushu, live, or stay, fight, die. The decision that sealed their fate. Sukekuni understood something crucial. If Tsushima fell without resistance, Japan would not understand the threat. They would underestimate it, prepare too late. So he chose death, not for victory, but for warning. A rider was sent across the sea. The rest stayed. The slaughter at Komoda Beach. The Mongols landed in formation. No individual challenges. No hesitation. One samurai rode forward shouting his name, expecting honor. He received arrows. Dozens. His horse collapsed beneath him. The Mongols advanced as a wall. Samurai charged. They were surrounded, cut down, crushed by numbers. Then came the sound no one understood. A shriek, an explosion. Iron bombs burst among the defenders. Fire, shrapnel, smoke. Men panicked. Horses screamed. Some believed it was divine punishment. It was worse. It was technology. 3 hours. That was all it took. 3 hours. 80 samurai lay dead. The Mongols lost almost nothing. They did not call it a battle. To them, it was practice. The rest of the army disembarked. Tsushima burned. Villages emptied. Civilians were captured. And then, terror began. Terror as a weapon. Prisoners were not merely killed. They were displayed. Hands pierced. Ropes threaded through flesh. Bodies hung from ship hulls, alive. A message to Japan. This will happen to you. Tsushima fell in 2 days. Iki followed. Then Kyushu. Japan's last line. Hakata Bay. The Mongols expected another massacre. Instead, they found walls, prepared defenders, samurai who no longer fought alone. For the first time, Japan adapted. They fought in groups, at night, without honor. And it worked, barely. Then the sky changed. The wind that decided history. On November 23rd, the storm arrived. A typhoon. Ships collided. Anchors snapped. Hulls split. Men drowned by the thousands. The sea swallowed an empire. By morning, the invasion was broken. Japan survived, not by strength, not by strategy, but by chance or faith. The birth of a myth. The Japanese named the storm Kamikaze, divine wind, a belief that would shape centuries, a belief that would return again and again. But beneath the legend lay an uncomfortable truth. Japan was not invincible. It was lucky. The cost no one talks about. The samurai waited for rewards. There were none. No land, no gold, only debt. Discontent grew. The shogunate weakened, and Japan entered centuries of internal war. The Mongols forgot Japan. Japan never forgot the storm. 80 samurai stayed when they could have fled. They didn't save Japan. They bought time. They became symbols, and history remembered the symbol, not the blood. This is not a story about gods or destiny. It's about choices made in fear and the stories we tell afterward to survive them. This is Reinvoke History. Subscribe for the wars legends try to simplify.